Lovely J podcast it is with Miss Coco Boughton. Hey y'all, what's up? I hope you're all doing great. Like I am. I'm doing okay. Got a little knee pain. They call it a Baker's cyst. And that thing, it's in both of my knees and it's doing its thing, okay? But I'm doing my thing too. I'm gonna keep going. Okay, y'all, I am cooking some easy dressing, and we're going to be talking about why the churches are empty. Why? Why are these churches empty? We're going to talk about it. Ooh, why do I need to clear my throat? That don't make no sense. First, what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell y'all, I got some Jiffy cornbread in the oven. That's bacon. I don't need much. I just needed one box so it can have the cornbread taste. Went to Walmart and got some stuffing. And they are the cornbread kind too. This isn't how I usually do my stuffing at Thanksgiving time. But when I'm off peak from Thanksgiving, I do quick stuffings like this. I usually do not follow the directions. It says stir in contents and stuff in mixed pouch. In a medium, in a medium saucepan, heat 1.5 cups of water and 1/4 cup stick of butter or margarine in a bowl. Stir in contents of stuffing mix. Remove from heat. Cover and let stand 5 minutes. Okay. We're going to do something similar to that. We're just going to add some cornbread and onions to it. What I'm going to do is, I got a skillet here. It's heating up. We're going to add that water to it. Y'all hear that? Primitive cooking. Love it. This is what we're going to use as our broth base. Let me grab some gloves here because I'm going to cut an onion. Wait a minute. I don't need to cut an onion. I got some right here. Okay. I'm not going to do that then. Well, all I got to do is heat up the water. And I got a chicken bouillon cube. Let's see how much sodium's in this. I'm going to use half of it. And I'm going to add that butter in there that they said add. But I'm only going to use half this cube because I don't want to make it too salty. Y'all know anytime you get something processed, it's already salty. I ain't trying to teach y'all how to cook. I'm just trying to tell y'all how I do mine. And I do crumble this up so it can dissolve good. Okay. And what do we do now? How about we still get the gloves so that we can... I have onions and peppers here. I'm going to add peppers this time to mine. Oh, yeah. Let's not forget to add this butter in there. It said add butter. So we are going to add our butter. Is this butter? Imperial is what I've been using. I like Blue Bonnet the best. This is Imperial. Y'all, I found out why I swallow a lot when I talk. It's because I have the dry mouth from that sleep apnea machine. I'm going to have to... I got like this one time before, and I had to order some oil mouth rinse to help produce saliva. So, looks like I'm going to have to get some more of it. Because I cannot stand it. Look, I've been seeing videos of people do it. And I mean a lot of videos. I'm seeing people around in my community doing it. And I'm like, it is irritating. It's irritating as can be. And I just can't hear. I do try to lean back whenever I feel myself going to do it, but it just happens. I'm not getting enough fluids. And what else? That's mainly it. Not enough fluids. And at nighttime when I'm on that CPAP machine, it's doing this number. Okay, I added some pepper flakes in there. Is that too many flakes? Ooh, let me fish some of them out. I added a lot. Y'all, what I need now? What I need? I got these peppers here. Let's cut those. I'm going to get it together. Y'all know how it is. Oh, I got to pluck that chicken too. Well, not pluck it. I brought a chicken that was already cooked, rotisserie from Walmart. I'm just going to break it down so it's easier to work with. Let me set that water over there. So what I'm having tonight is going to be dressing and some boiled broccoli. That's it. Because the meat going to be in the dressing. I'll cut some of these peppers and these onions to go in there. That's a lot of red onions. It's a lot of red onions. I mean, not red onions, but peppers. Where are the green? See, that's the only thing about Walmart shopping, y'all. And when your name on that list, I am going to have to cut up an onion. Because this bag is supposed to be mixed with peppers, but it has a majority of red peppers. It's supposed to have red, green, and onions. But this has a lot of red and maybe one strip of green that I've gotten out. It don't matter. I'm still going to do right. I'm going to do right by my stuff, and I ain't going to let nobody stop me. And I do know if you want a good stuffing or dressing, to add onion. It makes it good. So I'm going to add my own onion. I'm not even dealing with that drama today. Not going there. Not going there. We already going to be talking about a touchy subject for most, which is, why is the churches empty? I'm going to tell you why. The churches are really empty because a lot of the people that are teaching in church and preaching in church these days, they are empty. The only way they get any satisfaction or any way you can make them smile is either through the offering or doing whatever they say. When they feel like they're the boss, then they kind of come around. But that's the real reason, because the leaders are empty. And the ones who do have that oil on them, I'm talking about that show enough Holy Spirit, holy fire oil. That oil that'll tear down them strongholds. They don't even use them. They don't use them. And why they don't use them? Because they're jealous of them. Y'all, I'm putting these onions now into this water, into this broth water that I made. They jealous of them, so they don't use them. Anybody with ideas in the church, they shut it down. Because it's a fear. It's a fear thing. That's why the church is empty. Because what was the number one thing that churches feared long time ago, which was financial and the fear that the church would be empty. Well, you could say something like the church kind of spoke it into position. They acted as if the church was empty, and now the churches really are empty. Now, it's not saying that's going to be like that forever, because there may be some restoring in some areas. And in some areas, it may stay a drought. It depends on who you teaching. Ooh. Y'all, I did not know that these chickens be that juicy. I done wasted all this chicken juice out of this bag. Ooh. Oh, y'all give me a second here. I gotta get that up. I forgot they be juicy. And I'm gonna add some of that juice into the stuffing too, as I begin to tear this down. But yeah, they sure fix these bags. What do you think? Okay. I'm gonna get back on topic. Y'all know how I do. Give me a second. I've got to break this chicken down. How I want to do it. Let me taste it. Yeah, pretty good. Yeah. Well, we're gonna use this chicken. I'm gonna cut this breast out. Maybe that's the part I'm gonna use, the breast. Yeah, just cut this breast out there. While I'm cutting, let me get back on subject. If you don't teach the young people and some of the middle-aged people, you're not going to be able to relate to people. Now, the messenger matters. Who carries the message matters. It matters to people. But see, to God, He can use anybody. Anybody He see fit to let that message use them. They could be in the bootleg house. They could be at the club. They could be sitting there doing drugs. And God can still use that person in the moment to draw somebody to Christ. And you'll be looking at them like, whoo, I know that's not from God. How you know? Okay, I got this breast out of here. And the rest of this, I think I'm going to save the rest of this. I want it too chickeny. I need it to taste like cornbread dressing. But yeah, God can use anybody. But the messenger has to be God's anointed. And the messenger needs to be a good listener too. Because some people, they'll go home and they'll say, I heard God say this and God say that. And the whole time it would just be them saying it because they had a grudge against somebody. Or, for instance, if somebody wore a certain outfit that they didn't like, then they'll come to church the next Sunday and preach on it. Where God said, you're not supposed to wear this, you're not supposed to wear that. But really, it wasn't God that said it. It was them who didn't like what you had on. So they decided to preach on it the next Sunday to teach you a lesson. The problem with trying to teach somebody a lesson is that we're all flawed. We're all made in His image, but we all fall short of God's grace, of His glory. We fall short of that daily. Nobody is better than the next person. And it doesn't matter if you have money or not. You're just not as good as you think you are. And those controlling spirits that get up into the church, don't you know the street knows that? The devil knows that. And he uses your behavior to run people away from the church. Because they're going to start saying, oh, well, he ain't living by the Bible. He surely can't be a child of God. Or she can't be a child of God if this is what she's doing. And how did most of us learn who a child of God was? Do we even know? Do we even know who God's children are? Because most of us learned by watching what other people were saying. And what other people were saying was not biblical. Just because you think that a person isn't a child of God does not mean that it's true or false. Your opinion has nothing to do with who God says a person is. That's your opinion. It holds no weight with God. It holds no weight in heaven. You don't even have a heaven or hell to put somebody in. So while you're going around saying who's a child of God and who isn't, you have to be careful on that. But there is a way to tell God's children. God's children are not perfect. But one thing about his children, they do come to him. They come running to him. When they have problems or even when they want to celebrate in good times, they do come to him. Another thing that God's children do is they have the fruit to show. They have fruit to prove that they are God's children. Where is... Oh, yeah. I believe I'm going to put that other half of that bouillon in here. Yeah, they have proof to show that they are God's children. It's not by their good deeds or anything like that. But that fruit is going to show. That fruit of the Spirit. If it don't show, then they probably ain't one of his. If what you seeing is the kingdom of darkness growing, then that's probably Satan's children, father of lies. If they love to lie, if they love sleeping around with other people, husbands and wives, those are things that God does not approve of. Another fruit that we can look at is going to be, how they treat people. How do they respond when they get angry? But like I said, you have to be careful that when you are trying to get out here and judge who is a child of God and who isn't, that you don't get to the point where you think that you are so high-minded that you can really judge, because you really can't. There is a righteous judgment, and then there's this judgment that people just do just to feel like they are somebody or have something to say. I try to be mindful of that at times when I see some people, because I ain't gonna lie, it do come. That's why I can speak on it, because it do come. Sometimes people be in the church and we be like, why is they even preaching? Why are they even singing in the choir? Why are they representing God? And we'll have this thing that it's not to our standard. It's not to our liking, but it may be just who God called. And I have to humble myself down, because I do think like that sometimes. So I'm not saying that I'm any better than anybody else. But why the church is empty is because of us. It's because of us that know better, but refuse to do better. It's because of us that are already in the church who feel like we own the church in a certain way. You notice that when you walk into the church, some people don't feel welcome, because as soon as they walk in, they're met with weary eyes, dreary eyes, satanic eyes. Your eyes don't got to be red to represent the devil. Your eyes just got to be lifeless. People I see that have cold hearts, they have cold eyes. There's no light in their eyes. And when you talk to them, it's like talking to someone who is just hardened. You don't know if they hear you or not. They just hardened. And you could tell when they start, when they start pretending that they really like you, that's a dead giveaway right there. Y'all, let me check the cornbread. I am so ready to eat this stuff. every time I move, this cyst hurts. So if y'all hear me grunting and things, it's because it hurts. Alright, cornbread done. Cornbread in front of me. Really don't gotta do nothing but add the broth. Well, mix this cornbread up. Yeah, but that's why the churches are empty, because of us. It's not just no one person. It's us, because if we are all supposed to be representing God, but we get up in the church and we are there to satisfy flesh, that's a problem. Let me grab some gloves. Yeah, it's us. Another thing we don't do no more. We don't invite people to the church because we're so selfish. Oh, I don't want that spirit up in here. Oh, that's one of them takeover spirits. Or that's one of them blues spirits right there. When me and my sisters used to sing, and we have sung all over this state of North Carolina and different states throughout the world. We even went one time and sung in Canada. But one thing I realized, quartet music was not received in the church. Most churches didn't want quartet singers. We didn't even know what quartet singers was. We really didn't. We didn't know what that meant. We just knew a lot of places we went to, we was turned down. Or we were treated differently. I mean, when I mean oddly different, I mean oddly different. We were treated like we were nobodies in churches locally and away from here. Whether it was local or away, we rarely were accepted at these places. It didn't stop us from doing the Lord's work. We continued to still sing and enjoy and, just enjoy traveling up and down the road. And it came with its challenges, but that's for another topic. People let us know that they didn't care for us. We would go in and sit down to sing, and our number, see, back then when we had choir anniversaries, you have to have a number. Our number would be, we try to get there early so we wouldn't be out all night, or so that we could sit back most of the time and watch some of the other groups sing. So when you go in, you got to send somebody in to sign your name up. Once they go in and sign your name up, then that's what number you're going to be whenever you sing. So most of the time we would be like number 4 or 5. About 13 people come there. About 13 people. 13 groups, rather. 13 groups would come to sing. Some places had 16 groups to sing. We get up especially early so that we could get there on time, because we knew what to expect from certain churches. We knew that, they would have a lot of people. So we wanted to get there on time so we could get a seat. Every time we got there on time, it didn't matter what church we was at. Do you know that we were last? And then when we would go say something about it, they say, oh, okay, I'm sorry about that. They got it mixed up. They made sure to make us feel unwelcome at these churches. And I'm talking about every church here in Montgomery County and Richmond, Gifford, Randolph, and more. It was like no matter where we went to sing, they put us last. And they thought they were doing something. But the truth be told, the programs would be dry. No spirit or that fake spirit until we start singing. Now, it's not saying that we were better than them, because we really wasn't. We wasn't in no competition. We were just there to do what God had for us to do and get on back to the house. That's all we were there for. But each time we left from there, I remember the complaints coming home. We ride, and this is what finally got me to the place where I was like, I'm done with it. Because I know God got better. Because, see, we done been in that place for a long time. 40 years is a long time to be singing and keep getting treated the same way. So after that 40th year almost, I think it was around 38 years, I stepped down. I said, I'm good. I don't need to go do that anymore. God got something else for me to do. And which was true. But I'll tell you this. It wasn't long after I stepped down that not only did God have something else for me to do, but the pandemic came and shut all of them down. Go, Jesus, go! He shut everybody down. Nobody was going to choir anniversaries now. Now, it won't because of me. No, I'm just saying God has a way of doing things that when you think you hurting somebody and running somebody off, he has a way of drawing them closer to him. Now, he let all of them experience what we had to experience. Over all these years, not all of them had to mask up. All of them had to sit outside and park in the car. Sit in the parking lot and have church. Everything that happens, good or bad, is to the glory of God. He knows what he's doing. More people were to the pull-up church than they was the other churches. But that prejudice is why God is not in some of these churches. That ill will spirit, that mockery spirit, that have the nerve to mock him and then treat people like they don't mean nothing. How can you stand in church and say, I love Jesus, and you can't even love your neighbor? Now, I got some neighbors that's real bad, but I still love them. I go to war for them. If I find out some of us in this community and we going through something, if I can help, I will still go to war for my neighbors. Not because they've been so good to me, but because my heart is right with God. I ain't finna do people like they do me. But those people enjoy putting us last and then looking our face all stupid like they... Listen, and I'm going to call it like I see it too. They look at our face all stupid like, I don't know what happened. Let me go. It was this one girl real bad. She always did it every year. Looking at our face like we were just some dumb clowns. And back then, we weren't clowns, but we did not understand the spirit that was up in that church. One woman told me, she pulled me to the side, and she said, I know how they doing you. Which she did know. Wouldn't stand up for us when we sing. Wouldn't clap when our names were called. Mispronounce our name every time. Oh, I almost started calling church names. They really offended us bad. But we didn't. We just shook the dust off. Kept doing what God told us to do. When they call our name, they mess it up. People start looking around at each other. People were not happy to see us doing God's work. Now, if we would have been in the street, killing ourselves, they would have loved that. Go to some churches, they would have refreshments we go down to the hall to get our refreshments. First thing they say, oh, we out. We out. Ooh, y'all, I gotta be quiet while I'm pouring this. Y'all hear it? I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't talk and pour at the same time because this is hot. This is hot boiling water. This is my broth. Gotta post some more. Those people were mean to us, and we took it. We humbled ourselves down. And my sister, I'm not gonna call her which name, but she was calling it like it is. She said, I'm tired of coming to these places, and all they do is put us down. She kept saying it. Well, see, you gotta understand. I didn't know like she knew. I didn't know people like that because I really hadn't been out that much to know people were that mean in church. But she had been doing church for a long time, going out singing to these places. She had been on the road. She was on the road the same amount of time we were, but she got a different experience than we did because she got to sing with some major singers that we didn't get to sing with. And she would tell us, girl, I'm tired coming to these funny people church. But she hung in there too long as she could. But I didn't understand what funny people in the church meant until it started hurting worse. Singing is one thing, but hurting us is another thing. Ooh, I got these. Everything ready. We got hurt behind these churches. It was church hurt. It was. We got hurt. We were humiliated. People would know that we pulled up there first. And they would say, well, we waited all day to hear, all evening to hear y'all sing, but we got to go now. And they would tap us on the shoulder on their way out. Sometimes the only reason why some people would come was because they thought we were going to sing early. And then when they found out we won't sing it, they would leave. Now, that's not saying that my group was all that, but we were somebody. And there were people that recognized that we were somebody. And there was people who recognized how we were mistreated in the churches. Because not only were we quartet singers, but we were just people that were looked down upon, period, in the community. Didn't have a lot of money. Most of us had different kind of ailments going on with our body. But we still would press to get out there. We still pressed to get to what we need to be. We still pressed to go make sure we were singing to the glory of God. Church is empty. You know why churches are empty? They saw how you did your own members. What make you think they want to come to your church? People started seeing what the church was about. The church became a corporation, a business, a commodity. Went from having anniversaries to raise money so that the choirs, could continue to travel singing the glories to God, to raising money for all kind of things that were not of God. And not to mention everybody's money wasn't good. So if you're one of them that they considered, not good, they would rather you dislike them. They would rather you dislike them than to allow you to feel welcome in their church. Anybody else had that experience before? If you have, hit me up in the chat or comment on the video. Thank you to those who be commenting. But that's just a story of what it's been like as a gospel singer for me. And I've been singing since I was 8 years old. And I really didn't stop till I was And really still haven't stopped. I just haven't had any invitations or anything. But up in my 40s now, 48. So that tells you how long I've been singing, over 40 years. Well, right at 40 years. You got to know that everybody is not on your side. Some of these people in church have side hustles where they the true prostitutes. If you really be honest about it, they the true prostitutes. They don't only prostitute your gift, but they will prostitute your body. And if you don't succumb to what they want you to do, then you are outcasted. This is why you see them women come back killing the men, and you see the men come back killing the women, and they preachers. This is why you see them taking their own lives. Because somewhere along the line, they got caught. They got caught up. They got caught at what they were doing. And one thing about God is, He'll let you hang yourself. He's not going to stop you. He's not going to stop you. So if you go into Him with pity, you might as well hang it up. Because if you've been out here in this world and you've been doing evil and you still don't have a heart to just say, well, Lord, I'm sorry, I repent. He going to let you get exactly what you were dishing out. He going to give it right back to you and watch you suffer. Y'all, I got to taste this. I had to duck and sneeze. Y'all hear me? I came from underneath the table. I had to duck and sneeze. This black pepper. Let me see. Ooh. That is. It's good. Ooh, that's going to be real good. Let me set my timer for 15 minutes. Put it in the oven. I will be right back, y'all. Ooh, this is real good. And it's not too salty. Because y'all know stuffing in the box is salty. What's next? What's next? All right. Let me get back over here. Let me get a sip of water. Oh. I want this pan out. Next. I'm going to get back on the story. I gotta get caught up here. Next, we're gonna cook some broccoli. You know you can steam these in the bag, the Walmart brand, Great Value. All I'm doing is adding some water. And whatever seasonings are in front of me. That's it. Well, that's the end of that water. I might add some butter in this. Yeah. Where's the rest of that butter at? Might as well use it. Might as well. My mama said that all the time. Might as well. I need to go visit her. Might as well. Go see what she's up to. Didn't get to see her today at church because we didn't have church. Okay. So I'm back. Thanks for listening, y'all, to Lovely J Podcast. I'm Coco. if you're just tuning in. And I'm talking about why the church is empty. And I'm giving my experience as to what I had to endure with at church. Many churches. Not just one churches. That's how I know, too, that these churches are a network. And they are a community of people who outcast people. They believe in division. Don't let them fool you, the people in the church. And I would say probably God has me talking about this because this is why we're seeing people still running from the church. Or better yet, they're not even running. They just flat out telling you, you ain't my type of tea. You ain't my cut of tea. But back in the days, don't you know that the drug dealers and the prostitutes, the winos, alcoholics, addicts, even the people who were labeled crazy, schizophrenic. Let me tell you something. When they run up with a true woman, a man of God, do you know how much respect they have for them? The respect is instantly received. Because they feel the spirit is different. I had a man ran in my house. He ran in my house. And these are testimonies, y'all. And this ain't no lie. He ran in my house. He was a bad guy out here on the street. Known for shooting and killing and hurting people. He ran in my house one day. Didn't knock or anything. Just ran in here and he looked at me and he said, man, bad as I want to, I can't. I said, what? He said, there's just some people that God won't let me touch. He said, I can't do it. So I would have an incident with this fella again about 3 or 4 years later. And he would tell me the same thing. He said, you know what? I can't even do nothing with that. And he left. But that same man on both times, as soon as that man had a homicidal spirit upon him, where he wanted to go out and kill people. He wanted to hurt people. He lived off of that. But that man, I hope y'all been hearing me because I did not know that was turned down. I hope y'all been hearing me. But that man had that spirit upon him, and as soon as that man left here both times, the first time when he left from here, he went right on and shot a man in the foot. The next time he left from here, he went on and killed a man. To this day, he locked up right now. So you see, people do recognize those who are God's children. But they gotta be God's children. Not the imitation version of God's children. Somebody trying to pretend like they are a child of God. It's people when you go to those people who you consider low class, see how they receive you. And this, hey, try this out. Now, I'm not telling you just to donate food, just be donating, but donate from your heart. But look at the difference. When you give a person some food who's in need versus someone who is pretending to be a child of God or pretending to be light in darkness. See, those who are pretending to be the light in darkness, even the beggar got questions. Where are you from? I'm not kidding. I've seen it too many times. They ask you, where are you from? Do I got to pay for this? They ask you questions about yourself. And the more questions they ask you, the less they trust you. Because you ain't got no light. You ain't got no anointing. You walking around with a form of glory. You ain't got nothing. You're not walking around with the real thing. You just got a form of. I'm not talking to y'all that are real. I'm saying this is why the churches are empty, because people recognize who is real and who is fake. They know we all have hard times, but they not going to show up in no house where they know they fixing to get condemned. Why would they do that? What do they do with condemned houses, y'all? Condemned houses, they put people out. So they automatically know when they are fitting to be condemned, they're not going to show up in that house. But where they feel like they can be loved, they will show up there. And they ain't got to have nothing wrong with them, because a lot of people they're in their homes having church because they don't trust the church. They know things that they're not talking about. They have encountered experiences that have left them traumatized that they're not saying anything about. Some of them may have been raped in the church. You see, a lot goes on behind the closed doors. Some of them may have been given drugs and alcohol right there in the very place that's supposed to be where they get their deliverance. This one thing that hit me was, it was these two people, pastors, spreading the gospel all over Facebook and spreading, oh God, thank you, Holy Spirit, for not allowing me to say it like that. But they were spreading the gospel all over Facebook, riding from town to town, building up websites, bragging on everything they were doing for God. God don't need you to do nothing for him. But still, they were bragging on what they were doing for God, as if God could not get somebody to do it. Come on, y'all. I didn't believe too much in them, because for one thing I've learned is those who act like they got it, they don't got it. They don't got the Holy Spirit. They don't got no guidance. They don't got no self-control. And I was right to stay my distance. It got where this certain couple, I really didn't know the man like that, but I knew the woman. But the couple, they started doing these lives, and everything they were doing, I was like, she just had that conversation with me not too long ago in the inbox, and now she's telling everybody. And that's one of the reasons too, y'all, I stopped asking people to pray for me, because it was some people, they were using my prayers against me. And that's why some of those people who are out of church, that's another reason why they're out of church, because the prayers they were asking for in secret or in private, because some things you don't need to let everybody know, now is becoming public Facebook testimonies. And then when they watching these people pages, they're like, that was my story. That's what happened to me. She wasn't supposed to tell that, or he wasn't supposed to preach on that. Preaching on people's personal lives, driving people to take their own lives because you putting their darkest secrets that they trusted you with out in the opening. That's one of the biggest reasons why the church is empty. These pastors and bishops and apostles can't shut their mouth. They can't hold water because they don't got the real thing in them. And those who do got it in them and still run their mouth, they struggling. But they hurting themselves. And they're hurting others along with it. So, fast forwarding on this couple. They had an event. I went to this event. I didn't really think much about it. I just, back then, you asked me to help you with something, I'd do it in a heartbeat, because I did not know there were so many different spirits and beings back then. And I did it. And when I showed up, it was not what I expected. I showed up with my granddaughters. Can I tell you what this pastor did? I showed up with my granddaughters, and this pastor started talking. It was a kids' event. And this pastor started talking about sex and what grown women want. My granddaughters were 4 and 5 years old, and they looked around at me because I have conversations with them to let them know. If anybody does anything to you, tell me. They looked around at me like, Grandma. And then when we got in the car, they said, Grandma, please don't bring us back here. That's what they said about a pastor. Grandma, please don't bring us back here. I said, you ain't got to worry about that. I will not bring you back there no more. So it wasn't long after that I received an email blackmailing me. See, this is why I don't support people like that anymore. Ooh. Hold up, y'all. My phone is about to fall on the other side. And I might as well check this stuffing while I'm up because the alarm is about to ring. Oh, I don't even smell it. Maybe about 3 more minutes. Now, kicking that jug around underneath my foot. This woman and her husband was so foul to talk like that at an event that was supposed to be for children. And I knew then. Let me tell you, if you ever feel like somebody has a perverted spirit, believe it. Once you try that spirit by the spirit, yeah. I was blown away by what this couple had did and how they turned that kids event into something that I kind of felt like was sex trafficking in a way, or it was trying to coerce young women, single women, to join in to whatever plan it was that they had going on. Anyway, I didn't deal with them people anymore after that, but I did receive an email, and on that email was a woman saying, or a man, I don't know if it was real or not, but the pictures were real that they sent me of this man and of this pastor. And this is a well-known pastor. And this the pastor that was, again, praying over my grandchildren and me at this event. And now I see everything that he has. Those pictures were nude pictures, y'all. Nude pictures. That pastor did not turn me on in any kind of way. I never would have looked at him like that. After I saw that, you know what? That was just it for me. I don't even speak to him anymore. I don't care to speak to him anymore. That was disgusting. I hope this thing comes back on. That was disgusting. That's why the church is empty. We tired of you pastors trying to have sex with us. We tired of your wives recruiting us and trying to trick us to see if we want your nasty behind. We tired of that. That's why women don't go to church like that. That's why men not going to church. Oh, and not to mention the men. Can I get started on the men? Oh, no, I can't. But if I was to start on the men, I would say there is so many of our men who are turned out in the church because of what happened to them in the church. That's why they don't come to church. And the ones that do come to church, they hide behind being musicians or they hide behind their gift. They're afraid to tell what really happened to them. And then as they get older, the devil keeps fighting and hitting them. Eventually, whatever happened in the dark, it has to come out in the light. And now, when it comes out in the light, now it looks like this person's full of demons, when really what they're full of is whatever that pastor was doing to them. And this is why the church is empty. Those guys didn't want to be gay. They wanted to be fathers. But when their innocence got took, say for instance, going on these retreats, a lot can happen on a retreat. Parents, don't leave your children with some of these pastors. I don't care how good they sound or how much they promise you he coming back a man. Or how much they promise you she coming back from the conference and she gonna be well. She gonna learn a lot at the conference. If you can't go with her and she's not old enough to make her own decisions, then she needs to stay home where she's safe. Children growing up too fast. Church is empty. They grow up, tell their children what happened to them, and their children vow. They take a vow that this will not be me. I'm not trusting nobody in the church. I'll go, but I ain't trusting nobody. So they go to the church and they scatter all out. Then some of them never come to church because they heard what you did to their mama and their daddy. So they don't come to church. It's just important that conversations like these be had. Because if you got a pastor or first lady that loves to drink alcohol and you leaving your children around them and they teaching your children, oh, it's okay to do a little bit every now and then. That's a problem. I don't think I want to marry a preacher. I don't know how these first ladies do it. Especially one that they know ain't right. No, they can have that. Y'all don't know what's going on with my cooker here. Oh, I think I got it in now. It wasn't plugged in. Why do I do that? But those are just some of the reasons why the churches are empty. You're hurting us with your sexual addictions. You're hurting us. Deacons, you hurting us. I say us because I've been approached in the wrong way too, but I did stop going to church for a while, but I'm back in church now. And I'm a lot wiser now, a lot stronger now. I'm more in tune with my spirit and who I am and who God says I am now than I was back in the day. Back in the day, this one pastor out of Mount Gilead, I'm not going to call his name, but to this day, I'm still disgusted. He was married, and I couldn't walk in a church without him grabbing my butt. And it was just, ew. To this day, I want to smack him. To this day. Because when I was going to church, I was really going because that's where I was led to go. And I really do love God. But going to the church just to get sexually assaulted or touched in a sexual way, nobody wants that. And to be honest, if some of them would come out and be truthful about their sexual identities, they could get really delivered and make a difference. But see, you can't make a difference where the underlying cause of what you're doing is demonic. You can't make a difference. That's why you got to you got to compensate by going out here pretending like you're doing all kind of missionary work for your shortcomings on your identity. But you ask them little boys in the church, ask them musicians. Nobody never checks on them to see how they doing. You learn a lot from them. Ask those little girls that was in the choir. Y'all know most people have sunshine bands. Just about every church had a little choir called the Sunshine Band. Where are those young ladies at now? They should be pretty well grown. They should be in their 50s and 60s. Ask them how much harassment and abuse they had to take while being on those little choirs. Ask them how many times the deacons asked to give them a ride home. This world is messed up. This world is cold, and we can't fix it all in one day. But we can make a start by being real. Y'all, I gotta go get my stuff now because I don't want it dry. I smell it now. I smell it. Oh, yes. This is a broody. Woo. Lay that right there. So I'm going to get ready and get off of here. But yeah, that's why the churches are empty. Nobody wants deliverance. Everybody wants position, title, and role, but nobody wants deliverance. When deliverance comes back, people come back. When the foolishness of bopping people on the head, knocking them down, stops. Some of that is not God, and y'all know that. Hit somebody on their head and knock them down. I've seen a man. I don't know if I should even laugh about it. But he was in the prayer line. He got hit in his head so hard. He wasn't trying to go down. Pastor had to hit him 3 times to take him down. And when he went down, that was the hardest lick I ever heard. The back of that man's head hit that bench. And it bounced him up, flipped him over. Nobody went to that man's aid. They left that man laying down there with this big concussion. Now, it's not funny. But yes, it is. Because you don't play with God. They left him laying down there. I know that man had a concussion. That man didn't come back to church no more. That's another reason why people don't come to church. We tired of getting hit in our foreheads. Now, like I said, it may do something for some people, but some, If that's what you believe, you need to be hitting your head and knocked down, okay. But some people are going to fall out. Some people are going to fall down. And listen, some of that is real. So don't let me tell you that it's not real. Some of it is real. But when it gets to the point where it's ridiculous and you starting to look like you're trying to fly across seats and all that, that's the time when you need to really just consider, is this really for God, or am I doing this just to be seen? Am I in God's moment, or am I in a fleshly moment? Because people get hurt. That's why I don't be falling. I don't be falling down like that. Because I got bad knees and a bad back. I'm not fitting to be trying to roll over on my bad knees, grabbing onto something. 2 little arms. I'm a big woman. So to ush on this arm, ush on that arm to get me up ain't going to work. That's not going to work. Do not hit me in my head like that. I have migraines. Don't hit me like it. Listen, I know people say it don't take all that. And somebody gonna come back around and say, yes, it do. God knows our body. Anyways, this is why the church is empty. Those are just a few reasons, but there are plenty more reasons why the church is empty. I'm not going to go into them tonight, but I wonder, is there a scripture that I might can find on this? Y'all give me a second here. I might can find y'all a scripture. Y'all, let me text my granddaughter right quick. Let me read on this. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Matthew 15:8-9, where Jesus criticizes the Pharisees for their empty worship and revelation. Y'all want to read it right quick? Let's do it. Let's do it right quick. I need a shirt with that on it, by the way, since I see so many people. What did I say? Matthew 24:8-9. I see so many using that word now. Before I used to didn't hear nobody saying it hardly. Oh, yeah, that is a good scripture. Okay, let's go for this. Matthew 24:8-9. All these are beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Yup, that's true. So the false prophets are why the church is empty. That's one reason anyway. Many leaders will appear with fake identities claiming to be the Messiah and deceive many people. Then persecution. People will be arrested, handed over to be hurt and killed for believing in Jesus. And then there's just hatred. People will hate those who believe in Jesus. And then this one says the birth pains. These events are like the first pains when something new is about to be born. I do believe that the new is coming. It's coming. Now that I do believe that we are going through so much pain and hurt right now because there is a generation coming up that's going to fight. There is. But we must train them. Those of us who can and will train them who God is so that they will not abandon the faith. They may stray, but they're going to come back. Because we all have strayed. And that's why I don't stand in judgment. But like I said, those are a few reasons. And those are some tough reasons that nobody wants to admit. Nobody really talks about how the little girls and boys got hurt in the church. It won't just, the sexual assaults, they just won't end the Roman Catholic churches. It was in the Baptists and the Methodists too. Because some people had teenage boys that would get on these girls and hump on them while they in the church shouting. The kids are outside pumping each other. Growing up, when you realize what you have done, it brings on shame and guilt. And then that person don't go back to church. So we got a lot of work to do. And we should be glad that we can talk about things like this. And we should have more discussions like this. Be open to discussion about what's going on. Because if we don't help these kids, the little kids that we have now, in 20 years, they are going to be the adults that are up in the churches. And if they don't have the right spirit inside of them, they're going to be the next group of people leading people astray. And we need clean spirits, pure at heart. We don't need these dirty hearts bleeding all over everybody because their childhood got messed up. Now they want to see everybody else's childhood messed up. We need pure hearts preaching the gospel, teaching how to love your neighbor, not this community policing teaching. Because let's be real, a lot of these pastors up in the church right now, they are community policing. Yeah, they're giving you a word here and there, but they also watching you to the point where they're going to let you know indirectly. We don't need that when we come to God. We need just scripture. We need to be told how we're going to use these scriptures in our life. We need to learn more about who God is, not just about these community outreaches. These outreaches can only go so far. Look at Asheville. Do I need to say as much taxes as them people pay? And they white. They Caucasian. They getting treated like crap. I feel sorry for them. Some of them that don't deserve that. But they are getting treated like they don't even belong in this country. So what do you think they're going to do with the rest of us? You need to have a real God that you can lean and depend on. That is not, and you need to have real people in your life who are not afraid to teach you that word and teach you how to apply that word to your life and not charge you a booty call to do it. Now, that's just real. Okay, y'all. Peace, love, and happiness, because I almost got started back up, but we ain't doing that. We getting out for here so I can cook this broccoli, eat my stuff, and little chicken, and that's it. Peace, love, and happiness again.